Yeah. Alain Apaloo. Did I pronounce well your name?
Perfect.
Yes. How are you, Alain?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me here.
Yeah.
It's a great honor. Yes.
Oh, pleasure is all mine.
Hey.
So, Alain, I'm here in Copenhagen, and we have been bumping each other on
Yes.
these jam sessions.
Yeah, different places.
Yeah, different places. So I had the opportunity to see you performing in February with Jackson.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So you were with the band there. I saw in some jam sessions performing with the band.
Yeah.
And I've seen some videos of you performing solo.
Yeah.
Today you performed for us a solo piece. What you like the most, performing with the band or playing solo?
Wow, that's a I can. It's really difficult to say because it's like having different. You have different. Different aspect of yourself is coming out when you're playing different. When you're playing with different constellations. If I'm playing solo, it's much more meditative and more. I can really go within myself and really try myself out. And if I'm playing with other people, then I have to not only go within myself, but also like have an ear outside what's happening, and so I'm not just So it's different ways of approaching the same thing actually. So I don't prefer one more than the other, but I think I kind of need both. Maybe not at the same time, but at some period of time, maybe I need to retract a little bit and play more solo gigs, and some other times I need to play with other people. So it's like music is to be shared after all.
Yeah. So the both can complement each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
So I've seen you also performing on YouTube in these settings.
Yeah.
And does it makes any difference when you are performing close to a guy like Kurt Rosenwinkel and like non-famous players? Does it makes any difference to you?
I mean, do you mean if I find a difference between playing with Kurt and other musicians?
Yeah, in terms of inspiration, like.
Definitely. It's like yes, definitely. Kurt is, I mean, Kurt is Kurt. Kurt Rosenwinkel is Kurt Rosenwinkel. So, and his level of musicality is unparalleled, I have to say. So, and that's really, you can just, it cuts through. So playing with him is well, I mean, I have to say I've been really, really blessed to get this close to him, so I can really like drink from the source, directly, because I for a long time I have been like really searching for guitar players or people who understand the instrument I'm playing, the guitar, so I can listen to records and learn from, but I've just been so fortunate to actually meet a guy that's doing it. It's not that I have to check out tapes and stuff like that and sit with him and he's doing it directly. So that's I consider it very, it's a blessing, So it's definitely big, but apart from that, I want to say that, well, when you talk about inspiration is inspiration. You can be inspired by a painting. You can be inspired by a scene, or some music that you listen that that maybe that you don't even think that is interesting enough because it's catchy enough or whatever, that has some impression enough on you, starts up something within yourself. So in terms of inspiration, I get inspiration from everywhere, whether it's Kurt Rosenwinkel, whether it's you at the jam session, just checking out what you're doing, or the people that that I grew up playing with, or studied with, with my team members. I think I get more inspiration from my team members because it's like weird. I get more inspiration playing with my guys more than anything else. So I don't know how to explain it. The great artists or people out there, it's like it's a possibility. You see something that's possible, and you keep on developing that while with the guys I'm playing with. It's something that is here right now that I can, that is relevant for me now. I don't know
absolutely.
Yeah. So inspiration is all everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it's this person or that person, but it's the level of inspiration is very personal, depending on the situation, also on the level of understanding where I'm at. You know, sometimes I can listen to something that I don't think anything of it, and then later on it has a big impact on me, and I understand how, you know. Or sometimes something has an impact on me right now, but it takes many years for me to understand, you know, like how much that has been a part of my growing as a musician.
Yeah, at some point maybe it stuck in your subconscious.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So apart your own career, like Alain Apaloo, you have been backing up or have been working as a sideman with some singers and many other artists.
Yeah.
So I would like to know from where comes your you are very versatile. What are your thoughts about from where it should come from on your musical background to be so versatile?
So
you can play
versatile.
blues, you can play rock, you can play jazz, you can play Afro. I've seen you in all these different contests.
Well, it's really nice of you to look at it that way, to put it that way. In Togo, in Togo, I think generally, I'm not sure, but at least from Togo, where I come from, when I grew up, you know, like learning to play, when I started to play music, the bands that were playing were supposed to be playing everything. They're supposed to play some jazz, you know, instrumentals, and then later on you play some variety of things, French variety and stuff like that, and then some music from Africa to make people dance, you know, to make the party, you know, some soukous and all those things, and then some rock and roll also to just bring some. So there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of the bands that I was listening to, or at least that were popular in those days. That's what they did, you know. And I just grew up with that. It wasn't really I didn't have any preference for anything. Of course, you know, I had the tendency to go a bit more like I wanted to understand more the music that was not directly didn't seem to come directly from Africa, like, you know, like rock, and then it started for me with rock, and then later on I rock and blues, and then later on I got into jazz and everything. But then being far from home for so long, you know, made me like rediscover this really makes me want to go back to the roots. So which makes me a bit more deep, a bit more into the blues and now more like the African, you know, like the African rhythms and different, you know, stuff. So I think it came from the fact that I grew up in an environment where that was what it was, you know. I listened to everything. I was, you know, I was learning from everywhere, you know. So, and it just so much. The people, my mentors, you know, they were people who listened to everything. So I just picked it up like that, and I didn't make any difference between this and that, and this and that, you know. So it's music. So, like one of my mentors used to say, he says music is like the sea, and then you can't
Put
separate
borders.
it. Exactly. Exactly. And once that is really understood, then you just have to find your voice. And the main thing is to be able to find your own voice in all that, you know. So it's like traveling the world, you know. You go to Mozambique, and then you should be able to join in
Yeah, Mozambican music.
You know,
Yeah.
right, and be able to enjoy that
Mm-hmm.
also. So, and but if I think that this is the only music that exists and this is the best music, then I cut myself from not that the rest cuts me, but I cut myself from from a, a bigger happening, you know. So it limits my ability to not only appreciate but also understand music as a bigger family.
Yeah.
So I think that's been with me since yeah
Back then.
since back then, yes.
Yeah. So now that we are talking about your starting point in Togo, right?
Mm.
Yeah. How did you pick up this instrument?
Oh yeah, okay. I was taught by a priest. Actually, I remember. I think I'm not sure. It's been so long time, but I think that first I saw a video. I was watching Hendrix playing Wally thing, I think, or something like that, and he was burning his guitar, setting his guitar on fire, and I was like, it was
Yeah.
it was so provocative.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it. It was like wow. It's like it's so. It got me really into that, and then, but then. But then I was in the choir, you know, like a choir, church choir, back then, and we had a new priest that came to our congregation, and he had a guitar, you know, in his guitar in his case, and we were supposed to welcome him. And when I picked up the case, I was like, wow, and I was like, it was just love, you know, like it was just
First sight.
yeah, it's like I had to get into it, you know. So I asked him, and I went and I asked him, "You want to teach me how to play?" It was like you know, he wasn't so sure about it.
It
And
was an electric or acoustic?
acoustic, yeah, acoustic nylon, acoustic, yeah, classical guitar. So, and I kept on going back to ask him, and then he was like, "Okay, this guy is serious," you know, I was very little, and then he, you know, he one day I went there and he prepared some notes for me, and then he started teaching me. It was great, yeah.
So first you start singing with the choir, then you
Yeah.
pick up the guitar, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, actually, way back, I was already dancing and playing in traditional band, you know, a traditional folk, you know, thing. And also playing drums. And then when I reached, I think 11, yes, then I picked up the guitar. I started, you know, so traditional drumming to the choir. I think I got into the choir like when I was, I think, I don't know, 6. And my grandmother was singing in the choir, so it was just all of us. All the kids we were put in there. And then when I reached 11, I started the guitar. Then just changed.
So every time you wanted to practice, you have to borrow the priest's guitar, or at some point you had
Yes.
your own guitar?
No, for the first year I went to his place. I went to the church, and then I practiced there. And then after that, actually, I wanted to go to the priest school, which I went to the priest school. And when I was going to the priest school, he gave me my first guitar.
Wow.
He gave me one guitar, so I can continue at the priest school, you know. So yes. So I was 12. Yes, I was.
So without him around, how did you manage to keep improving on the guitar?
Oh yeah. I think like many people back then, you learn one chord here, and then you learn, you know, you hear about that guy has some new chord. You have to go and check it out. You know?
There was not this social media
No,
like
no.
digital world.
No. and then find some books, you know, and then you find these books, old books, like, you know, in, you know, with page torn apart,
Yeah.
it's missing, or photocopy or something like that. But I remember, I think when I was 13, I had a guy who heard about it. Now we've been many friends for many years. A guy came to our house, and he told me, he was like, "Are you Alain?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Okay, if you want to learn, if you want to develop in music, come to my place." I was like, "Okay, that was really weird."
That's a scary invitation.
Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, great." So I went to visit him, and he was a jazz piano player.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was playing stuff like, he was playing Earl Garner
Oh.
and some stuff back.
Like Misty and this.
I'm
kind
telling
of,
you, he
yeah.
was like, and he had books with transcribed transcriptions from, you know, all those, and he was like, that was the first time I heard jazz, and I was like, what is
Wow.
going on here, you know? And he made me listen to a lot of music, and he was the one who actually sat me down, explained how the scale, the diatonic scale, and all the modes, and how chords are formed and everything, and that's really just expand, you know, like my horizon, you know, like it's expand. Wow, I was like, wow, you know, because before I had to learn the chord, like it is like this, but now I could actually look at the guitar and know, okay, this third is here, the fifth is there, and all those things. So that was very an eye opener for me, and he also got me to learn to very much get interested into jazz. So that was I'm really grateful for that guy, Charles. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty amazing. So I can imagine when we are younger, like we try to play the hit songs, the songs that we listen to the radio, and for such a young age, when you show your friends that also play guitar this strange jazz thing, how was their reaction at that at that time? Like,
well,
man, are you going crazy?
No, I mean, in those times, I was not yet playing. I guess I was the only one that I knew of in my circle that was actually playing guitar. So I didn't know of any others. Well, I knew that there was one guy that was playing out there. He was very famous, but I didn't know many. So and around the same age, I met my first mentor, Jimmy Hope. He's dead now. He's to the soul. Who was like really like you know, right, really opened my mind. Like that was the next level. You know, like you know, the life philosophy and music, how to approach music, rhythm, timing, phrasing, and personality and art. I don't know, everything about that I'm actually still developing today. You know, he was way in advance. So around that time, I was just, you know, I was basically like just the one little boy trying to figure out all these things, you know. So I wasn't really, there was no chance to show off what I had because there was no chance to really show what I had because there was no competition. So, but the only time I had a chance to show off, I was showing off with this lady, and this guy came and he asked me, and you know, much older guy, he asked me if I wanted to give him some money. You know, he was on the streets, so, and I didn't make anything of him. he had a guitar. He said, "Can I play a song for you? So I can give you, so you can give me some money." And I was on a date. So I was playing smart. I was like, I can't play for you, you know. I was like, I can play for you. And he was like, okay, can you play? I said, yes. Okay, and like, okay. Then he gave me the guitar. He said, can you play it? Like I said, give it to me, I'll play. So he gave me the guitar, and I took the guitar and I heard the first chord. It sounded really bad, like this one. I knew a few chords, you know, that was like, didn't sound good. I took the first chord, second chord, it sound really good. I'm like, what's this guitar? And then he just give it back to me. I gave it to him, and then he just started playing. And I was like, and I was so embarrassed. Like, I learned not to show off, you know. I think I was 13. Yeah, so I didn't really get the chance to show some and some new things I was learning or stuff like that. You know, because I was already playing with I was already taken by my mentor and taken in, and I was already playing with him in his band. So sometimes I'll play bass, sometimes I'll play rhythm guitar, sometimes I'll play lead guitar, and he was explaining a lot of things for me. So those were days where I was playing concerts with him, and those were days of hard learning, and I learned a lot of lessons. Very the hard way. He was very direct and very loving and direct. So it was very controversial.
So I'm quite sure I shared with you some jazz records, he pointed maybe some jazz mentors or jazz heroes to listen to.
He was more like a blues guy, blues and rock guy. So he played a lot of blues records for me, a lot of blues and soul, a lot of blues and soul records. He wasn't very much into jazz. The jazz thing came more for me when I came back from the preschool after 2 years. I think I played a bit more. I was a bit more blues and rock, and I think that the jazz started more for me when I was like around 16, 17. I remember at that time I took my guitar and 16 years. I went to Ivory Coast for 7 months, and I met a bass player there who was playing in jazz clubs, and we were supposed to. He liked me. He liked my playing. He thought I was, very interesting and young. So we could do something together. He needed a band. So, and he made me learn 35 songs. In about 1 week.
Oh, like jazz songs?
Yes.
Oh.
And that I remember I got sick after that.
I can imagine.
I got sick after that, but it was really, really good because we weren't doing anything those days. I would just go to his place and we would just go into and start learning the song, and my reading wasn't good. It's still not good, but at those days it was much better because I was doing every day.
Yeah, you could practice.
Exactly. So, and that's when I started, the jazz thing. Also in Ivory Coast, I remember I was replacing a guitar player in a club there, and they did the same thing. They play some kind of standard couple of songs to start with, and then they went into the Afro stuff, and then they play whatever they had, to play, and then maybe one or two rock and roll songs where they will feature me and stuff like that. So with Jimmy, it was more like my mentor. It was more like blues and rock, and he played a lot of records for me. He was playing records all the time. He was listening to new records, buying new records, and making us listen to the playing, the production, and the composition, the arrangement, everything. He was just way ahead of ahead of all of us. So I'm really grateful for that. I got to meet that guy. Bless his soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So where you were diving into a very deep appreciation level of music, like from blues, rock, jazz, and
jazz came much more in when I was like turned around, like I said, around 16, and then after my Ivory Coast affair, when I came back to Togo, there was I heard about this jazz club that was there. So everything I actually learned from Ivory Coast, I was just ready to get into that club and started playing, there on a weekly basis. And then I also moved to. I was playing between two clubs in Togo and Ghana weekly. 2 nights in Ghana and 1 night in Togo. I was doing that every week.
Wow.
Yes. So in one club in Togo I was playing guitar, and in Ghana I was playing bass, and so it was, and then we got to learning a lot of standards and
Is there something in particular that jazz gave you? Maybe in terms of harmony, in terms of rhythm, in terms of compositions.
Well, I would say everything, because jazz is for me is like the expression of life. It's a form. It's like it's a way of it's free will. It's like free expression of life. Like if you look at it, if I look at it like, wow, this really matches like like life. Like everybody has their personality and they express. You express yourself. Of course, on some basis, we have to have some common ground, some common rules, understanding, stuff like that. But once that is there, then it's all about expressing yourself. It's all about being yourself. That's what I learned. That's the approach I learned from what I learned from jazz. Of course, like that's his philosophy, that I take with me. And of course, harmonically, like it, like it gives me like an endless possibility. So yes, like I said, like my encounter with this same guy, first guy who said to come to the piano player, Charles, was the beginning, where he kind of opened the door for me, and I got really curious, and I wanted to understand more, know more, and that's, and then I started playing clubs and stuff like that, and learning standards, and it wasn't easy, but it was fun. It wasn't easy, it was fun, and each time I felt like I could understand the song that gave me some. I felt like I grabbed some tools with me to learning the next, and it was not all coherent. Now I can see that, okay, that I can kind of trace. I can look back and see what it was that was happening at that time. So yes, for me, the jazz gave me like the philosophy that I have of music today, which is everything actually. Everything or at least the way I'm approaching music. There are other ways, but I think for me that's that free living life and taking chances and going on yes and expression of oneself, just like life is moving, with some rules and stuff like concept, not concept, within a certain kind of frame, you know. So yeah, that's what I take with me, you know. That's what I take with me.
So from where did you use it to search for inspiration back then, to play jazz, to play rock, to play blues? What were, can you point some main artists that really impacted on you?
Wow, lot of people, lot of people. In blues, my favorite, I mean, apart from Hendrix, that started all this sparkle for me. Apart from Hendrix, I have never really, actually, when I think about it, I put Hendrix so much there out there, but I never really sat down and checked out what he was doing, because it was just like untouchable.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, you know, it's like out there, you know. I listen to it and I'm like, wow, but I never really sat down and like, okay, let me copy that. Because his way of, this is one thing I learned also from my mentor, his way of breathing was very different from the way I'm breathing. And I found out when I'm, you know, through his phrasing, it's a certain way of breathing. So I find it easier to, when I listen to something, I'm like, oh, I can copy that, I can take that. But the other things, it's just the breathing is a little different. You know, it's not the nose, it's the breathing. So apart from Hendrix, you know, there's a lot, many people like my all-time favorite is Johnny Winter. Yeah, and Johnny Winter has this very icy sound, and he's singing so soulful. A lot of people talk about Johnny Winter's guitar playing. I love him really much, also for his soulful singing, and his soul. It's cuts to it goes really together with it. That's actually something that's happening usually, that you see in the blues musicians, that they're singing and their instruments playing, whether it's piano, or guitar, or harp. It's just cuts through. It just goes together, you know. And I guess that's what I, you know, run after. And when I say I'm going to the source and find the blues, you know. So Hendrix, Johnny Winter, Muddy Waters, of course. Wow. That's the blues, right?
Yeah.
That's the blues.
If we had to go to the jazz department, is there any record and artist that blew your mind? Like, oh, this is something else.
Yes, I mean, in terms of jazz, and I would say that Art Tatum is like out of this world for me. It's like Art Tatum, Bob Powell, I like, McCoy Tyner, you know, and more modern guys. There was a time I listened a lot to Branford Marsalis, and it's just there's something there, you know, for me, you know. That touches me like very much. I love piano player and saxophone. Piano and saxophone for me is like when I want to listen to jazz. Of course, guitar players and Alan Holdsworth. I like all this fusion uh, uh, periods. Alan Holdsworth that influenced a lot of guitar player in his time, like Eddie, Eddie, Eddie Van Halen, and I don't know, a lot of Steve Vai and um, saxophone players. I like John Petrucciani, the piano player, also very much. There's a lot of humor in his playing, and and of course Monk,
Colonial.
and of course Monk. There's so many. I can't say that without saying Miles Davis,
Yeah.
of course. you know, the kind of blue album is like, for me, it's like it's just this record you can't, the timing, the people playing, and every soul it's just
Yeah.
like came straight from there's some records you listen to it, it's like it's that this song is good, this one song,
Yeah.
but that album, the whole album is a one package. It's just like what, yes. And there's a lot of people, what can I say, of course Kurt Rosen today, and Mark Turner.
Yeah. The tenor sax.
Yeah. There's a lot of great players today. I mean, me personally, I know a lot of great players.
Yeah.
Like
Imagine,
I've had the chance to play with some really really great players, and that's with the advent of the time we're living now. It's like we get the chance to even be where we are and hear about someone out there and check them out and stuff like that. So yeah, jazz guitar, Joe Pass, Wes, definitely is like
something special. On
yeah. Tal Farlow. Yeah. Well, I'm start to think so much.
But
Scofield, I love
Oh.
Scofield. Yeah, definitely. So, but for me, I think in terms of jazz, I think piano and saxophone, like
are the instruments that hits.
yeah,
hits
yeah,
on-
they're so, they can be, especially saxophone can be so tender and aggressive at the same time, depending on, and did I say Coltrane?
No,
No.
only mildly.
So why didn't I say that?
But he was on that kind of blue.
Yeah. The whole, yeah. So, yeah. So for me, it's more like uh, saxophone and piano. There's a,
If you had to put a team of jazz musicians that all ever existed in the history, so those are the ones that probably you had to pick, like mostly pianists and saxophone players.
well, not necessarily, because like that was just like we're talking about the stage, right? Now, I know some people in Denmark that if I have to, like, now I just call them right away.
But we will get there.
You know, but and then like I could, like, there's some other, I say Michel Petrucciani, for example, like he's French, and there's also this guy called Boyan Z. Boyan, I think it's Zulfikar Pasik. I can't say that name. It's a long name. Great, it's like I love his timing and play. There's a lot of I mean, I think it's wait. I think it's from originally from one of the Eastern Europe, but I think his name sounds like that at least, But he's French.
We will see.
Yeah. Boyan Z. So. So no, not necessarily that those are the guys I would call. I have also learned that, for example, when you take the album, what's that called? Kind of, those were the right people for that album. You would have taken somebody else, it would have been something completely different, for sure. And I'm not sure if it's going to be as good to my taste, what I call good, So it was just perfect, So sometimes it depends on what kind of record I want to do. I want to, like, find the right people with what, sometimes, for example, my own album, my last album, I invited my friend Kurt Rosenberg to play guitar on a good number of songs. Not that I couldn't play the guitar myself, but I wanted a specific sound that I knew that it was best that's coming from this corner here, So that's the guy, So, and that's how I think about songs or production or whatever and stuff like that. So yeah, so when I'm making an album, I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about the song, what that song need. I may call you and say, hey man, I was thinking this song, like that. So. So if I would make a jazz album, totally jazz album, I think I know enough, good players, that I'm playing, for example, with Simon Spang-Hansen, wonderful musician, good player, good songwriter, and so composer. So and so
he's from
Denmark. Yeah.
Okay.
And so many. Yeah. Like I've been living here 25 years because
we will get there, and maybe after this question.
Yeah.
How did you move it from Africa to Denmark?
I heard about the conservatory because I was having a jam with some friends in Ghana. I used to play with this number one Ghanaian pop reggae pop singer, and while I was jamming, we were jamming once with one of our keyboards players there, Kwame Yeboah, who's actually playing with Craig David and Cat Stevenson now. Has been playing with him. So it's his friend, like his companion at that time, that told me about the school, about the conservatory here, and she introduced me to the idea of coming and studying here. So the next year, when I got the chance, I was living in Switzerland. I moved to Switzerland to make an album. I was there for about a year, and I thought, oh yeah, okay, maybe it's a good idea to check the school out and find, especially because at that time I didn't have to pay
We are talking around.
See,
You are talking around 19 or 20?
99.
99.
Yeah, 1999. So 1999. So I came here and I applied and I passed through the test and I got accepted. So that's how. So it's through the conservatory that that I got uh, my my residency here. So to study for 5 years, but I did it in 6 years.
Did you have to adjust your playing, the way you play, to fit on the Danish scene, musical scene?
I think it happened naturally. It's not something I done instinctively, but of course, yes, the environment is affecting us. So my playing has changed a lot. How I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but I can listen to, for example, the album I made before that was never released in Switzerland. How I was musically thinking, the way I was approaching the music and the kind of solos I would play compared to now. It was just too. It was just. I was just a different place. It was a different personality altogether. So yes, I have to adjust to the environment here, of course, and which was a little difficult for me in the beginning because people wanted to know whether I'm playing blues or I'm playing jazz or I'm playing rock.
Yeah, you have to define.
Exactly. So if people wanted to call me to play, they knew that okay, But I never managed to fit in that. But somehow I think I got a bit more more and more. I mean, I got a bit. I mean, more and more outside of the jazz scene. Because I don't know, I didn't have to define myself as I'm not a jazz musician. I love jazz, and I'm not a rock musician. I love the sound of rock, so I love both sound, and I'm an African, so it's like, oh great, what can I do with this, kind of. So, and if I keep in my mind that the jazz and the blues all originally came from Africa anyway. So it's like how, or at least some part of it from Africa. So it's like, how can I, an African today, a modern African, use those tools to express myself, and that's the journey I'm kind of on now. There's more tools, more possibilities now. So yeah, just but it requires that it's not kind of, yeah, it's like kind of like redefining, like now I have, now throughout my journey, so now all these experiences, how do I define music? It's like define music as me, not as an African, not as just me as a being, and I think that's more important to me now than anything else, and I think that's the kind of journey I'm on. So yes, I had to adjust to the environment first too, so I can find out what's happening, and so they can find out who I am or where I'm coming from, what I have to offer and stuff, and then from there we can have some kind of transaction. And I think that's went on. That went on for some years, and I got lucky enough to establish myself somehow. And now I'm on this journey of just redefining myself as a voice on the big stage of music, that we are all on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alain, you have this habit to go out and check other musicians and play jam session, meet people personally, different of like just sitting on behind in front of the computer,
Yeah.
just searching for new players on the YouTube.
Yeah.
You just go there and try to find other people
Yeah.
personally. Do you have any philosophy behind that?
Well, first, I mean, this is the gift that I get from Africa. The first, music in Africa, we don't. I mean, when I was growing up, I can't speak for all Africans, but at least I know that from when I was growing up, when there's music, well, you go outside, and then you go, and then you don't even just stand. You are moving the rhythm of people are singing, and it's very powerful experience. Music is, the vibration is so powerful. So I think I took that with me. So even now, I don't remember last time I even just put a record on and listen to. I bought a lot. I have, throughout the years, I have collected quite some music that I've been listening to when I was been studying. But at one point, I just didn't play. I would listen to whole album many times. Want to get into it, dig into it, find out. But now it's more like that's not where the music is happening. There's a lot of music happening. One of the reasons why I love Copenhagen is that I know that every day there is music happening somewhere, which I was missing very much back home in Africa, So, and also in Switzerland, when I was in Switzerland, I couldn't settle there because there was so much, seldom, at least where I was, there was seldom some musical events happening, and in contrast to Denmark, where there's music all the time. There's this place, there's that place, there's this, you have Mojo, La Fontaine, Blowers. You just,
Whether it's Monday, Tuesday,
whether it's Monday until Sunday, there's like sometimes there's like 3-4 places, in the weekend is blooming with. So that's why I came here. So it would be a shame not to take advantage of that, and experience the music, head on, So I, as much as it's good to like check out music, if it is to check out what is happening in the music, take a note, understand that, and really be brainy about it, then I can listen to it. But that's just one side of the brain. The other side, where the thing is happening, the creative side is happening. It's like it's constantly happening every single day. So I have to go at the jam sessions, because that's where also I cultivate my own spontaneity. If I sit down checking out music all the time, I go to jam session, I'm still checking out something. So I'm still learning to speak without saying anything. But I have to get out there, throw myself into the water, and then I can swim. That's the only way I can learn to swim,
Exactly.
So I think it's very, very important as a musician to get out there, to be at the sessions, listen to other musicians, and there's no one thing that is better than the other. There's no one person that is better than others. People have found their own ways of expressing themselves, and so the main thing is if we find that there is someone that is master at something, they have mastered their own expression, which shows the way that we can also master if we show this, at least some kind of amount of dedication towards that. And it's not about being better than anybody, it's about being better than ourselves today, like I can play this today, but how can I play tomorrow? How can I played it like yesterday, but how does it express itself? I may believe something this morning, but in the evening I may change my mind. So like, how do I express that musically? So, and since life is constant flow of movement, like forward movement, which I compare it to the jazz bit earlier. So how do I adjust to the situation? And it's not by sitting down and checking out others, because then I can say, oh, this guy played this major third, while he played this, it's very brainy. But when I'm in the situation, then I have no say. I would drown. So I have to be out there. I have to listen to the people, and sometimes put myself in this situation where I can get my ass kicked, or where I can so I can learn to express myself, or I can learn to develop my own self-expression, which is something that I don't even know what it is. That's the beauty of it, to discover myself.
You have been recording and releasing your own music, your compositions. Earlier in this interview, you talked about finding your own voice. Is there any composition, any record you have produced and put out that you say, oh, here is my voice? Is that something that's from the day one writing your own songs, you realize that this is what I want to go through?
If I made it, let me understand. You want to know if I made a record that I think, okay, this is my voice, or
yeah.
No.
I remember the other day we were talking, and you said there was an album that you firstly recorded solo.
Yeah.
Then you realized that, oh man, I feel
it's too
Solomon.
naked.
Yeah, should play some drums.
Yeah.
Oh, that singer should sing this song.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little about about that?
Our self-expression is not done. It's not fixed. It's not something that is okay. It's this one. We keep on evolving. With like anything else, like the tree and stuff like that. So is our self-expression. So I'm still, maybe I found an embryo of an expression of myself. That's not the whole, just an embryo of an expression. I can get into that and develop that and try to make it as best as because whatever I hear in my mind and whatever is coming out is never going to be the same. Never. It's impossible. So if the day so like for example, I go into a record. I go into a studio trying to record a solo album because I've been playing for so many years, and then I have to make a record. My first record, I go there, I record solo. Come out a few days, and I'm listening to the product, and I'm like, it's not there, and just I couldn't explain why. I was like, this guitar is not well recorded. I don't like my voice. This is not better. This could be better. Just like, what is it? Okay, maybe, but the record had a deadline and it needed to be out. So I had to call them. I started, okay, maybe I should put some bass on it. I should put this on it. I should put this. In the end, it wasn't the album anymore. So it was it wasn't that as it was. And now I'm understanding it's never going to be like that, because I don't know who said this, but they say if you imagine a perfect circle, it's perfect. When you start drawing it, it's subject to interpretation, so it's not perfect anymore. So because some people will, like it will, so it will, yeah. Because now you interpret compared to what is perfect in your mind. So like that, and I think it's the beauty of it. Imagine if we like everything perfect. If we had said all we had to say, so no, I haven't made any. I haven't, like I'm going with the flow. Today I find something, an embryo of an expression myself, like wow, it seems to be like this is it now. Before I thought it was this is it, but now I understand. Now this is it. And I look back and listen to some of the records, some things I was like, oh, I wouldn't do that today. But that the only thing I say, wow, I was very courageous to put that out then, like, so. But I'm really happy that I did it, because I didn't have any other alternative. This is what I knew then, which makes me like, okay, great, now I understand something different. It's not that what I understand is better, but it's just another perspective. I look at the same thing from a different perspective now. It's like, okay. And then that gives me ideas to, okay, go further, Then in some years I look back and so it's the same thing that I'm doing, same music I'm trying to create, same expression of beauty that what I think is beauty or feel is beauty, and I want to create in the world, but I do it from different perspective, and with time, you say, the first album, second album, blah blah blah, you can see development, but all of it together will be the expression of me, right? So it's almost like, but of course, somebody can say, this is Alain, this is the only, but and you can't take that from them, because they have also created, like they're perfect, perfection, whatever in their mind, in terms of, how they interpret that. So I don't think, and I don't hope that ever gets to this. I mean, it's impossible to get to perfection as we hear it. It's impossible. I mean, we can get very close, and have a little sense of it, touch almost there, but it's like sometimes, like when I'm asleep, sometimes I wake up with some music in my head and I record it and I go back to or sometimes I do that. Or I'm taking a walk and I'm hearing this rhythm and these progressions and these melodies in my head. And when I start recording, already then I hear it's a little off. So I have to sometime complete it, So
you only have this sketch.
Exactly, always. And then we have to put in, the sometimes some music comes that are already there, that are already complete. You just don't fight for it. It's there, and which means which means that we also have that when we aspect of ourselves when we are completely clean, non-judgmental, just comes through. No no idea, of what we should create and stuff like that. So I'm happy that it's like that. That I have to search, and I have to dedicate myself to that. I feel really blessed playing this and being able to, live, go travel the world. It's fantastic. I'm very grateful for it.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
So Alain, I've seen some. I dig a lot on you these days because of this interview.
Yeah.
So I saw some, from my perspective, like your career highlights. I saw you perform with the WDR. I don't know if I'm pronouncing well. A big band from.
Oh, Denmark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen you performing with Kurt Rosenwinkel.
Yes.
Can you point some other highlights that really you said, hey man, I'm a really blessed man, I have performed with this cat, with this special band, with this special big band? Can you name a few so that we can dig and you can take this chance to include those Danish jazz cats or blues cats that you wanted to mention previously?
Yeah, I played with, wow man, I think the list is long of people I'm grateful to like play with. I played already, to start with, the guys I played with back home, the guys I played with back home, like Kwame Yeboah, for example, who's playing with Cat Stevens, and who's playing with Cat Stevens, and then now playing with Craig David, yes, and producing, I think all kinds of stuff, yeah, but anyway, Kwame Yeboah, for example, we've known each other since we were 19,
Wow.
Genius. I'm like, sometimes I ask myself, what did I do in my previous life to earn all this? It's like I must be good now. So I have to be good now because, so I can, it's there's a lot of people I play, all the guys I'm playing with is Ais Solomon, he's playing with everybody, and to get the chance to, when I first came here, when I was at the conservatory, when I was getting into the conservatory, he played with me, and when I was coming out, he also played with me. So it's like, and this guy is traveling the world, so what have I done to, so I'm really grateful, like Simon Spang, Hansen, Marianne Bitran, all the guys I'm playing with in my band, my own band. I have to thank them first, all of them. Rasmus Loh, great drummer, very checked, very easy to work with. It's like more non-conference, bass player, steady, it's like I've played these guys who played with me. Actually, this band started from my graduation concert. Those are the guys actually, with the exception of the drummer. I used the Rasmus Rosell, also another great drummer. But these guys have been with me since 2005.
Wow.
So I'm really grateful for them. Gone Bureau piano, and I played, with Ken Landing. He's a legendary blues player. I was guitar player and singer, loved many records. I had the opportunity to play bass with him in his band for for about a year and a half, or maybe two even. There's Asmus Lubert, who's like a very one of the, I mean, if not the the one great voice of Greenland. A very very interesting personality and very deep. You know, this is the man that's when he's like, when we come to rehearsal, he sings 200%.
Wow.
And when we go to concert, he sings as much.
Oh.
You know, so he doesn't. Oh, now let's take it easy. Never.
Oh.
And that was very interesting for me to like. Well, it's even possible. You know.
Yeah.
So Rasmus Lubert and basically I would just want to say that everybody I got the chance to play with, you know, in that band, for example, I mean, Rasmus Lubert, the keyboard player, Christopher Yu, bass player, why am I forgetting his name now? Ulrich Andersen, and Solomon, of course, and Jane Clark. All of these people have a certain level of musicality, also with my Apaloo band, that makes it that I feel I'm soaring. I'm like, you know, it's maybe the condition can be different sometimes, difficult sometimes, challenging. Maybe you travel very far, maybe you sleep less, maybe this, that. But in terms of the music itself is like, wow, it's so much giving. So I think first, the great experience that I have is with the guys that I'm playing with the, you know. And then yes, I've been to, you know, Crossroad last time, which I'm really grateful for. I met a lot of stars.
Yeah.
Which was it made some kind of impression for me on me, and just to actually hear the music from their perspective, you know, in such a short time, on 3 days, but very intense. And yeah, it was what is it called? And together, of course, with Kurt Wozniak, and we have this young cat, what is his name again, Marcus King, coming to jam with us. All that, listening to, you know, so all that is, for me, like I said, all counts, all counts very much for me. So I'm very much grateful for the guys I'm playing with, the guys I've played with, and I'm already grateful for the guys that I hope will, you know, Jackson, you know. Jackson is like, you know, how can you not, you know, Jackson is so unique. So I'm grateful for those, you know, like those because they are helping me form myself. The guys that I'm listening to are also helping me on the, you know, very calculative way. But in terms of in real experience, reality, is the guys that I'm playing with, the guys that I'm in the jam session with, the guys that I'm like kind of like, come on, you know, playing the right chord or whatever and stuff like that. Because those guys, you know, like whatever, you know, they're it's very much more real. Not that the other one is not real, but it's much more immediate, you know, right now. So yeah, I had a chance to play also with this singer, many singers, he- uh,
Can I name Isabel Novella?
of course, Isabel
Yeah.
Novella. Of course, she's awesome. She's awesome. Her presence on stage,
Yeah.
and the way she's just so gracious. Like very giving with the audience, and very her 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 compositions. And I have to also thank her brother Isildo for welcoming me into their musical journey. Like, I'm grateful for all these people because those are the real my real influences. Those are my real influences because it's so immediate. Deodato, we played together many years. Yes, Deodato Sikir, and then of course there are some people that I played. One gig, for example, I went to Crossroad and we had, in the Marcus King or even the, the the man himself, Eric Clapton, like there
Wow.
playing and stuff.
Wow.
That's very, very immediate. That's one immediate experience, but it still counts. All those count. So I think what I'm trying to say is like my influences are more the ones I play with. They affect my energy directly. In terms of like in terms of a personal, intimate, and intimate experience. Like my energy is touched directly than listening to a record, for example. I can have all kinds of ideas about a record, but when I'm playing with somebody, there's no idea. It's real,
On
so
the spot.
on the spot. That's those. So each and every one, I cannot mention all the guys I've been playing with throughout the years, but like my band member, every band I've been in, and every guys I've been playing with, there's this band that I really, really like. They're from this singer. She's from the Faroe Island. No, she's from Canada. Her husband from Faroe Island. That's Arno Ludwig and Anna Yakino. They have this duo called Monkey Rock, and throughout the years, we became a band and stuff like that. Love it. It can't be any more real influence than that. Yeah. So to me, I think influence is more like it's like, what do I put into my body?
Some people say that we are what we consume, right?
Exactly. So those sound of each of the people are like make what is beating up here, very much. It's very much more impression than what I listen to. So that's why for me it's like I've said earlier, like going to the jam session or listening to the people, like now consume that right away, directly from the spot. Not put in a home and then listen to it as a record later. No, because you get that also. But right, the concert, it's very hot from the stove. Eating the,
You can feel it, the energy.
Exactly. That one is very important. And I think all my influences, major influence, like the people I'm playing with, people I play with, they influence me more than what I listen to. So yeah. and here in Denmark, the list is long of of people. It's just it's long.
Yeah. So Alain, you have a record coming out very soon. Can you talk about a little about that?
Yeah. I have a. This is actually going to be my second solo album. The first one was not a real solo album because I was not playing solo. I had all kinds of people on them. So, but this is first attempt for me playing really solo, and still I still have some guests on. Marcus King on guitar on 2 songs. I Solomon playing percussion on 1 song, and then Thomas Crawford playing drums on 2 songs. So, and then there's going to be 12 songs, so that's like 7 songs without just me.
Really naked.
With naked, really naked, yes. So, and it's going to be released on. I'm really grateful for being invited on a hardcore record by my very good friend Kurt Rosary. Yes. So I'm very honored to be on that label, and I feel I'm going to have to up my game a little bit. So this record is going to be released in September. We have already released 1 single a couple of weeks ago. Last I don't know. And in August, 2 more what's that called? Singles are coming out, and then in September the album is coming out, full album. So I'm really, really excited about it, and really grateful for it to be released on hardcore record.
So people can find it on all digital
platforms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We are almost to close this interview. With all your experience that you accumulated through all these years, I would like to ask you to share some 1 or 2 advice with younger musicians coming up that would like to have a career like yours, traveling the world and sharing music with brilliant musicians, amazing jazz cats, blues cats, and so ever. So can you share some advices?
I just want to say, I mean, there's a lot of things you can give a lot of advice and stuff like that, but the main thing that actually comes to mind is, at the end of the day, it comes to being true to one's own heart. Find out what's in your heart, because every single heart, every single person, every single being has some form of something that is seeking to express itself through us in many different ways, and it can be music. And if you spend some time on your own finding out what is in there that wants to express itself, and it's a lifelong journey. It's not just you find it and then it's because once you express this, it will develop. It's so be true to what's happening there, listening to that, and it's okay to look outside and get advice and get guidance and everything, but the main thing is to find out what's in your heart that wants to express itself. And that should be the main, I think that should be the main thing, it's main focus. of attention. So, and then please don't look outside to compare or to, yeah, you can get guidance and advice, but not to be like or be, or be more than, because that's not the goal. Music has nothing to do with that. So, and then the second thing is focus. Focus on what is it. First, find out what it is that you want, and commit yourself to making it happen. No one has achieved anything in this earth without a minimum or a certain amount of focus. It's impossible. So even for a tree to grow, it requires a certain amount of energy for to dig its roots in the ground and everything, stuff like, and be strong enough so that when the wind comes and all those things, that it stays rooted and focused. So focus focus on yourself and commit to yourself, and when all that is in place, just see yourself doing it. Just see that you're doing it. That's imagination is the one most powerful thing we have, that we can get be better at get lessons, like we are yet to discover how much, it is such a big part of our being. So see yourself doing it, believe in yourself, and it is there's only one person that can do what you can do. So it will be a pity that you do not do that. So stay true to yourself and find out what you are good at and do it 3,000%. And just believe in it. Believe in it, and then believe in it. Yeah. See that you're doing it, and make the effort toward that direction, and things just would start to line up in some funny way and in some interesting way. If you're committed to what you want to, what you find here that you want to give, nature will provide the rest. Yeah. So it's only when we're not honest, we can be lost. But when we're not honest, it's okay to be lost in with the when you're finding, trying to seek for something. That's the important thing. And it's okay to be lost, but not to be honest. When you're not honest, then all the helps are there, but you don't see it because you cloud yourself with untruth. So be honest with, listen. You are the only one that can say, this sounds good to me, this sounds good, this sounds, it should sound like this, it should be like this, it should be that, it should be, I want it like this. And if you develop that ability within you, you will see that what you hear, you come to create something that's very unique, and that's what the world needs. So you finding your expression of what has been happening for thousands of years. It's very unique. So that's what the world needs. And if you don't find that, then you cheat the world over yourself,
Wisdom words with Alain Apaloo. Alain, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
I know you're a busy man, but you make this interview happen. It was possible because you were here on the time that
yeah.
you said, "Hey man, be there on time."
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure, making this, having you make this interview, because it's like, for me myself, it's like setting back the clock and rewinding a little bit and put some things in perspective. For me, it was very also healthy for me. So thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much to have to share something with some people.
Oh, my pleasure. Por hoje é tudo, foi um prazer enorme estar aqui a falar neste episódio do Talking Jazz com Alain Apaloo, guitarrista a residir aqui na Dinamarca, e eu espero voltar aqui com mais episódios, mais convidados do Talking Jazz. Até jazz!